I've described how denial is when you can look at a thing, it can be right there under your nose, and yet you can be denying it. You can be choosing to not see it. Because why? Because you don't like how it makes you feel. And in the past, I've used the example of like my dad and the abuse. You know, I was abused my entire life. Never saw it as abuse. Why? Because I didn't like how it felt to view my parents that way, as abusers. Because I love my parents. And so to view them as abusers was painful for me. So I denied that it was abuse. That's one way of talking about denial. It's right there. It's right under your nose. Plain as day. You can't see it. Because you don't like how that reality makes you feel, or that truth. Then another interesting aspect of denial is that you can see something there that's not there at all. So you want a thing to be there, you want a reality to be, but it's not, so you see it anyway. Both are just denial. And so now we're talking about this subject. Why people exert themselves to deny what everybody already knows is true and false. And how do you explain that? Because they determine reality with their feelings. So, can you reason with such a person? No. Because what is required for reasoning with somebody? What tool in the human toolbox do you use for reason? To reason things out. What tool do you use for that? Analytical and critical thought. That's what you use for reason. So, the people we're describing who would try to engage you in a disingenuous discussion like that, are they open or receptive to reason? We've already established they are not. They are determining their realities with what? With their critical and analytical thinking? No, it's emotions, their feelings. And what are they mired in? Denial. You see, the very act of reasoning involves using analytical and critical thought to try to see the truth. But the sorts of people we're talking about aren't using their analytical and critical thinking to try to arrive at the truth. They're using their feelings to do that. And feelings weren't designed for that. Have never had that purpose in life, and were never meant to perform that function. So it's not possible to reason with a person who's being like that. I'm not saying they are that. I'm saying they're being that way. And it's interesting that a person who is being that way, who you say, you know what, I'm not going to legitimize this absurdity by getting into a discussion with you about this, but if I bump into you the next time, we'll see then. And then, so you go away, you part ways, and you come back, and the person might be genuine on that next occasion. You never know. Might be more receptive to reason. But at the time that you're having a conversation with somebody and they're not open to reason, don't do it. Don't get pulled in. There's no reason to. It's the cost-benefit thing. What's the cost? And, you know, when you're playing the cost-benefit game, you got to think of cost in cost of anything. Time is a cost. Inner tranquility is a cost. Think about the energy. You know, everything we do in life requires energy, doesn't it? It's requiring energy for me to record this podcast. It requires me energy to sit down and read a book. It's just, how do you want to spend your energy? Because we all have a finite amount of it. I don't know about you, but I personally try to measure out where my energy goes. And if it's going somewhere completely pointless, I try to turn that spigot off pretty quick.